Something I wanted to talk about today is the Fia-Bug screen and weather front. I did get this at Dealey Depot, and I've been seeing the guys with them run around Elkhart in different places on the Chevrolets, and I thought, man, that is super functional. At the same time, I look at it, I think it really hurts the looks of the truck. That's my personal opinion. I think the Dodges look so much better with them, but my personal opinion, very functional. Don't like the looks. But if you guys saw my washing the bugs out of the radiator at 300,000 miles, man, there's a lot of crap in my radiator I won't never get out. And the cooling system, the AC condenser and all that stuff. So, you know, what this thing costs, and it's gonna protect all that stuff, you know, it'll be all right. The good outweighs the looks. The good outweighs the bad. So, anyway, I wanted to share with you something. I feel like I made a mistake when I installed this. I did make a video on the initial installation in Twin Falls, Idaho. The audio was horrible. My mics weren't right, and I didn't get to use that video. By the time I made it back down to Napa, Idaho, this thing was matted over. The whole front of the truck was matted over with bugs. And I ran it through Mr. Car Wash. When I did, I lost this snap right here, and I lost this snap right here. I don't blame that so much on the snaps. They're not going to be as good as screw-on snaps, but these are stick-on snaps. See, I was seeing all these guys running around with them thinking, man, I'd love to have one, but I'm not shooting screws through my grill. A friend of mine pulls up with a Dodge and was showing me theirs and said, no, it sticks on. It's a stick-on. So once I realized that these little things just 3M tape and stick to the grill, I can handle that, you know. So anyhow, what I think I did whenever I put this on, I did clean it up with a hand wipe, one of the, you know, the hand wipe, the Mulehead hand wipes that I carry with me everywhere, and I got the majority of the bugs off. Then I took the little alcohol prep pad that was in there and cleaned it up best I could. I don't think I cleaned it good enough, okay? The next thing I did is, instead of sticking all the snaps on and pulling this off and putting it in the back of the truck and putting it on after the curing time, you know me, I just stuck it on the road with it. So going down the road, all the wind, turbulence and stuff, pulling on these snaps when they're not cured yet, feel like it's kind of my fault. I did find out you could buy replacement snaps on Amazon for less than $15 a pack. That makes me feel better. I have ordered a pack, and toward the end of this video, there's, you know, they're in there, and I'll tell a little bit more about those. Now, another place I made a mistake when I installed this, I do believe, is this here is a mesh net. You can see the snaps are on there pretty good. You don't want to just rip it off, but you can put a little pressure on them. They don't come off after you've let them cure out. But this has a little bit more tendency to be stretchy than the weather front. So myself personally, if I was going to reinstall it, I would reinstall it with this weather front. There's not as much stretchy material to give. So when you put it on with this, that'll kind of conform to it, and this right here is going to stay about where it's at. That doesn't mean this is not going to work. So what I did is I took the center tube and I put the snaps in. I peeled the sticky off the back after I had thought I prepped the surface pretty good. And on the Chevrolet, you can see this little line that runs right down the center of the truck, little body line. So I got it centered up and stuck the bottom snap, because there's not a lot of real estate. That's just a little thin piece of flat right there. Then you come up here and press on the top one. And from there, you just work your way out. You know, you make sure it's good and cleaned up, and then you come out and press the next snap on. And then the next snap. And just work your way around. It's not bad, but with me doing the other one first, with the way that they're on here, this thing doesn't have a lot of stretch or give to it, and there's a couple of them I've really got to pull to get them up on those snaps. When you're working with 3M tape, you don't want solid, steady, constant, hard pressure along with the wind blowing on this thing while you're going down the road. If I would have installed it with this first and not the mesh, it would have a slightly looser fit and I think it would be fine, and it wouldn't put the pressure on that it's got on it now. So I know I'm going to lose a couple more of those snaps. One reason I'm making this video, I feel like that would be the better way to do it. Now, the weather front to me looks a whole lot better than the bug screen. And I can tell, standing here looking, the line in my grill goes right up the center crease and right up this bar right here in the center grill. So I did get it centered up pretty good. To be honest with you, I would love to have a bug screen for this grill down here. And if you don't have a grill for this down here, if it's just still got a wide open hole in it, you need to try to find something for that. My oil cooler's got beat all to pieces. On the weather front, you do have your two little breather holes right here where you can open it up and it'll breathe in the winter. In the winter time, it'll block out enough to keep the engine running warm, but it'll let enough air in, hopefully, to keep it cool. As soon as it starts turning off cold, one reason you'll probably see it on my truck quite a bit, just imagine how much of the road salt, rocks, gravel, and all that stuff that's going to keep out of my radiator and air conditioning condenser. Now it does have the two little flaps right here where you can open it up so the truck can still breathe a little bit. So after it starts getting colder, and when I'm running up north, I'll be able to run this all the time, and that'll keep all the rocks and bugs and all that stuff out of my grill and AC condenser. So pretty excited about that. Anyway, where I was telling you, I lost this snap and I lost this snap. I'm gonna fast forward now on up to my trip over to Mr. Tennessee's house, and I had no idea my neighbor was supposed to start cutting the grass. So put the bug screen on in Twin Falls, Idaho, and drove all the way home. Y'all know how the load board is. There wasn't any loads, and I had some personal stuff I had to take care of anyway. Coming through Oregon, that bug screen got so matted over it was ridiculous. And when I got to Napa, if any of you guys got Mr. Car Wash subscriptions, there is an awesome Mr. Car Wash right there in Napa. There's a couple, but it's right across the street from Taco Bell. I can't remember the exit or anything. So anyway, I got home. It's been about a week. I went ahead and took it off because a couple of my snaps, if you guys are thinking about going this route so you don't have to screw holes into your grill, the majority of them have worked great, but there's one missing right here and one missing at the top corner right here. This one was the worst one whenever it peeled off. So what I did is, of course, got on Amazon and ordered, it was, I think, $10 for some replacement snaps, because with them being like this and me running through the car wash and everything, I figured I'd need a few. And I am here with Mr. Tennessee today. I stopped by his house for a few minutes, and come to find out he had run his through the car wash too, and he is missing one as well. So we're going to go ahead and stick these two on mine. And while we were here, we went ahead and washed the bug screen out, and I didn't think about leaving the bugs on it to show you how much it caught, but it was a massive amount. This thing had changed colors on the front end, and it really, I'm gonna try to get some pictures or video before I put this video out to leave them in the end of how much it's keeping the bugs out of the radiator and the cooling system. But I wished I'd done that years ago, but I didn't know I could stick on. I thought I had to screw them on, but after seeing the difference, I would consider screwing them on. So this is what happened. When I was trying to re-stick these, I tried to peel the tape off, and I had some Gorilla double-sided tape, and they broke. So I went ahead and left these in here so I wouldn't lose them. I was hoping I might repair them. And that's up until I realized the same name brand sell these on Amazon. Now, like I say, on the one hand, should it work better for the money? Maybe. But I'm glad you can get replacements. And I'm glad I'm not having to screw holes through my grill, so it's worth it to me. So I'm gonna go ahead and start sticking it on. Make sure the name, the Fia, is pointed up. I'm going to snap as many of them on as I can. This is wet. We did just wash it off. Like I say, I wasn't really planning on making a video right now, but I don't think it's going to hurt anything. So we'll go ahead and stick it right here. Bring it around, peel the backing off. And I'm gonna put my finger right there and make sure that it just barely goes up on the truck itself. And now that I've got it stuck, I'm going to unsnap it and just let that rest right there for a few minutes until we get the other one, let it set up, but that way it's kind of centered somewhat on that. So there's another one. I'm just going to pull this out. There's another broken one with the Gorilla Glue still on it. I didn't even see that. So I'm going to snap this in, pull the backing off. Try not to touch it, because if you touch it, that's where it goes downhill from there. Put my finger on top of the grill, that way it kind of glides in right where it's supposed to be. And I may have pulled these things a little tight when I initially put them on. That could have happened. And then run it through the automatic car wash. They're going to pull off eventually. They're just not like screwing them on with straight up screws. So we'll let this set for a few minutes. We'll probably go ahead and get Mr. Tennessee's truck done, and then I'll come back, stick these back on, and it'll be good. And another thing I wanted to talk to you guys about, if you see these rock chips right here, I went in one day and I was having it washed and they got finished, and I said, man, you can't do nothing more with them bugs. And the guy looked at me and said, man, them ain't bugs. And sure enough, they're rock chips. So what I got for that is a Doupli-Color paint pen. If you're gonna run especially I-80 in the wintertime, that's where I pick up the most of them. You're gonna get these chips. And then after the road salt comes in, those chips are gonna turn into basically like cancer for your truck. I mean, it's gonna start rusting. So it's got a little, like a felt piece on the end. And what you'll do, I'm not gonna do one right now, but just take and use that to kind of clean the area off. And then, I believe this right here is for cleaning too, if I'm right. But anyway, once you're finished cleaning and you get the hard tip off, now I have lost mine. This is actually Mr. Tennessee's for his truck. But if you unscrew this, there's a paintbrush comes out. You can touch up the paint. And if you unscrew this, there's clear coat, and you can clear over it. And now, just an example, I don't know how good my camera's gonna do. There was a really big one right here, and that's the last one that I fixed. So it's not perfect, but this is a work truck. It doesn't have to be perfect. I just don't want it rusted. So one day, maybe I have a drink, kind of get my patience up, and start touching up. But I don't think I could ever get all these, especially on the bumper. So now we're working on Mr. Tennessee's, and his is actually held up pretty good. He's only lost one, and going through the automatic car wash and stuff like that, I think it's pretty good. And he's already had his wash since he's been home. So I'm just gonna take the alcohol pad, figure out where it's gonna line up. Get it good and clean. Let it dry for just a second. See, this new truck's already getting rock chips on it too. That's why the paint pen, and you can get those on Amazon. You just got to get the color code for your truck and look them up. Go ahead and snap this in, and since I've not done a dodge, I think that'll be about right. I'll just pull it tight as it goes out, right like that. So, maybe it's had enough time to dry. And I'm gonna leave an extra one of these with him just in case. Maybe I didn't get that too tight. I don't think so. But just to let it dry and let the glue set without pressure on it, I'm gonna go ahead and unsnap it, and we'll let that sit and completely dry, and then we'll snap it back on. So we let these dry a little bit, the sticky on them dry a little bit, and went ahead and put the bug screen back on. The company name is Fia, and you can get them at Dooley Depot and Dan's as far as I know. I know you can get them at Dooley Depot, but I also found them on Amazon, and I'll try to leave a link for both. This is a 2022 Ram and a 2018 Silverado, and he put his on, I guess it was close to like 2 months before I got mine. And when I saw how much it was catching, I like the looks, especially on the dark colored truck, you know, and the Ram and how they've got it cut out right here. I think that's pretty cool. I like the looks of it on this truck a whole lot better than I like the looks of it on my truck, but the functionality is great. What do you think about it?
It works. I was amazed when I first put it on because the red truck, I've got a 2018 Ram 2500, and the radiator was getting covered up and little rocks, you know, dings and everything that you can imagine. And eventually, over time, I think that might make your truck start running just a little bit more hotter. So I went and got this, and this thing's worked great. Now I do try to stay away from the car washes that do all the spinning and stuff in front, because I did have one missing, and right here I had one that broke completely off. But I've had this on there, it works great. If I had to go back and do it again, I'd buy another one. If this one here tore up today, I'd go back and get another one, because I sent him a picture, and the picture of his that he's gonna put in here being covered up, it saves a lot of money for later on.
And you guys saw on mine the rock chips. Those rocks can very easily go in there and hit the transmission cooler, the radiator, air conditioning condenser. You know, you're running 80 mile an hour, speed limit out west, 80 mile an hour in a lot of places, or even 70 mile an hour. If a rock falls off another vehicle or gets thrown up by another vehicle, who knows how fast it's gonna hit. Now, Fia, if you guys are watching, right down here where this opening is, it'd be great to have something to cover that up.
Absolutely.
And especially on my truck, because they didn't even come with anything. I bought a grill off Amazon and put in there to keep the rocks and stuff out. But there's no way it can't help. But if you look at the one on the front of his truck, and then you spin around and look at the one on the front of my truck, the one on the front of my truck is going to be very functional, but the looks on this with the darker color and all that is a whole lot better. And he sent me a picture of his when it was matted over with bugs. I'm gonna do the same thing, and just remember, all those bugs would still be caught up in the fins and the cooling system if it wasn't for this. So,
and not only that, when you're running out west, you also get the winter one too.
Oh yeah.
I have the winter one put up for now, but it'll be coming out. But when they don't use like salt and stuff up there like on Interstate 80, they use rocks and sand and stuff like that, and that right there will destroy your radiator.
Right, and that winter front, even if you're not having a heating issue, it'll keep a lot of that crap out of there. Now here is my buddy Tony's Chevrolet, and the shadow is really messing us up right here, but I thought it looked even better on the Chevrolet because it contours around the grill and all that than it did on my truck. I love how it tucks up underneath the hood, and it tucks up underneath the grill, and so far he's liking his too. And you can see the bugs it's caught. So if I can get over here where the sun will catch it a little better. It still catches a lot of bugs, or it catches a massive amount of bugs, but you can still see the, you know, where it says Chevrolet across, and you can still see the chrome. When he's back away from me in traffic, I can't even tell that it's on there. I appreciate you guys for watching. I believe that's going to do it for this video. Appreciate you, Mr. Tennessee, for letting me get you in here, and we'll see you guys in the next video. Don't forget to check in on the description for the links for the one for this truck, the one for my truck, and anything else I can think of that y'all might find interesting. Thank you for watching.